Hi, my name is Elizabeth Mannhardt, and welcome to my home creative space. Thank you, Quincy Art Center and Arts Quincy, for making these home art lessons available during our shelter-in-place time together. And I'm so pleased to bring today a technique that I'm calling mosaic painting, something that I've just started doing. Typically, I will be working with pastels or charcoal, but during this time, I thought it would be fun to take on something new. So I looked at what I had in my art supplies and decided to use things that I hadn't typically used before. You'll see to my right that there is a large painting, and that is what I've been working on the last couple weeks. That is my mosaic painting. And so I'm going to show you that technique today, and we're going to simplify it down because you can make it as complex or as simple as you have time or desire to do. The first thing you're going to need is a canvas or a piece of paper. I have some wrapped canvases around the house usually, and so this is one of the smaller ones that I'll be demonstrating on today. But this is a much larger, actually it's not a canvas, it is the back side of a poster that I no longer wanted to have on display. So I flipped it over and decided I really like the size and I like the frame that it's in, so I'm going to put a painting on the back of it, and that has been its own benefit and its own challenge. So I recommend a canvas or some kind of heavier paper because you're going to need to paint on them. That's the second thing you need is paint. You can use acrylic like I've used, tempera or watercolors or those watercolor markers, just some kind of paint that will be applied smoothly to whatever canvas or paper you have available. The next thing you need is more paper, colored paper. I have a whole variety here, and a few weeks ago I was able to still go to Hobby Lobby to get some colors that I wanted to have, but if you've got any construction paper or any kind of paper around the house in different colors, you can use that. We're going to cut it into strips and then cut it into pieces. Larger pieces mean that your painting takes less time and is filled up much faster. Smaller pieces mean that it takes a little bit longer. And don't be surprised if your floor starts to look like this. You can also make the pieces the same size, which means that you have more of a regimented or patterned design, which is very comforting and soothing and structured. Or you can use more of a Where's Waldo approach and have all kinds of different shapes so that when you're going on the canvas to fill in the shape that we'll paint, then you have to sort of look and then you have to cut something custom. So you can imagine that that takes a lot longer time, but is really fun in another way too. So the first thing we're going to do is get our paint open and create our first shape. Now you can paint absolutely anything you want. I just happen to like organic shapes and flowing lines. You'll see that in pretty much all of the artwork that I do. And so I thought that would translate into this mosaic painting, or I hoped it would, in a unique way. So we're just going to start by creating a very simple shape. We're going to fill it in. It doesn't have to be perfect. It's art. Actually, perfect doesn't exist anyway. But with art, the main thing is to just let yourself be creative, which means just trusting yourself, trusting the medium that you're using. Don't be afraid to make a mistake. It's just paint, it's just canvas. But along the way, you learn a lot about the paint, about the paper, about the chalk, about whatever you're working with, mostly about yourself. So we're just going to paint in a shape. It should be fairly full. You will see some of it beyond the paper, because ultimately the paper is the big object here to create the mosaic effect. So I'm just going to give a nice coat of this beautiful aqua blue to my shape. You can paint your initials, you can paint your family, you can paint your house, you can paint where you would love to go now that you can't go anywhere, where you will go next. Your school that you're missing, your teacher that you're missing, a beautiful sun, whatever you want to paint. And so here's my first shape that I have down. It's abstract, so we can turn it absolutely any way we want. And then I have to let that dry. So I have another one that I've already gotten ready for us, partially completed. So I guess I'm in need of some soothing ocean sort of looks, because it looks like that's kind of what I've started. But I've taken that aqua blue and some green and some light blue and just made some shapes around the canvas that I then started to fill in with paper. So once my canvas has dried, I will then get one of my strips of paper, and you can use a paper cutter or scissors. Paper cutters make things very exact. Scissors, you might need to help little ones with it, or definitely a paper cutter, be safe. If you have a paper cutter at home, that's amazing. Most people don't own a paper cutter. I'm an art teacher's daughter and an artist, so always a paper cutter. So we're gonna make some shapes here just with our scissors. I'm making some little triangles. And then I'm gonna grab some glue. So I prefer these glue sticks that are made specifically for projects, not the really goopy ones or the purple ones or whatever, just some nice white glue. And when your shape has dried and when you have all your colors planned out, what you want to put, you just start putting the glue down. I almost said the paint down. Oh my word. Start putting the glue down. Not a lot at a time, because it does take some time to get the shapes in there in the way that you want them, and you don't want to keep applying new glue. But I'm just going to start arranging the shapes that I've cut into or on top of the dry paint areas in whatever pattern makes me happy. So I have completed a few of those sections already, and just now I added a few more. So that, my friends, is the basic technique of doing a mosaic painting. You need canvas, you need glue, you need colored paper, you need paint, and your imagination. So have fun at home making these projects, and make sure you take a picture, upload it to social media, tag Quincy Art Center, Arts Quincy, and me, and have a blessed and creative day.